And before I knew who God was, I was broken. I would start to wonder if there was a God that genuinely loved me, like He said He did. Where was He? And I grew bitter because I felt like I didn't deserve any of the things I was going through. One day I prayed to Him and said, "If you're really here with me, show me." And I genuinely was expecting a lightning bolt to strike me at that moment, but little did I realize God was going to throw me into a situation that I was 100% not prepared. And I definitely couldn't take the weight of it on my own. It was only till this experience that led me to Him. My life was quote unquote normal for a kid because I didn't know anything about God. I didn't really realize what was wrong or right about things. But things switched up around 7th and 8th grade in middle school when God decided to show me Himself. September 6th, 2021, I witnessed my neighbor commit. For a while after that, I felt guilty and often blamed myself for everything. Why didn't I do something? Or why this and that? But I didn't have an answer for any of those questions. I thought that the only way that I would get what I deserved was to starve myself. At this point, I didn't really attend church besides on big holidays, like Easter or Christmas. It wasn't until spring 2022 when I started to attend Redeemer regularly. To be completely honest, I didn't think that there was a point of going because I thought God hated me. I believed that if I didn't even love myself, why would God want anything to do with me? That summer, I went to my first RSM camping trip in Arkansas. God spoke to me on this trip. During this trip, I was talking to one of the leaders about my life and what my relationship with the Lord was like. Throughout this conversation, I remember her saying, "You can run to God with your doubts, mistakes, worries, all of that, and what you're feeling. God will be there for you with open arms. He's been waiting for you to open the door. You just have to make the decision to do so." I understood that day that God wants to restore and love broken people, no matter what you've done or what your story is. You don't have to fix yourself up before coming to Him, because I learned that you will never be good enough for Him. But God wants you the way you are, and you have to accept that you are a sinner, and nothing you will do will change that. I'm not good enough for Him, no one's, but it's your choice to let Him in, and that took me a really long time for me to understand. She told me that I was God's child now, and I don't have to worry because He has me now. That day I accepted Him into my life and opened a door to welcome Him in, and changed everything about my life. I can confidently say I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. And since then, my relationship has grown tremendously, and to now be able to look back on my story and seeing that God has been with me through thick and thin. It's such a big relief. I know now that whatever I go through, God will always be holding my hand. And for that, I'm grateful to call Him my Father, because I deserve everything and so much more pain than that, because I am a sinner, and it should have been me up on that cross, but God took my place and your place on the cross, so we wouldn't have to pay. In my darkest moments, God had used it to show me Himself. I can now look back on that chapter of my life and smile. I would have never thought I would be here reading this to you, but here I am now. In Romans chapter 8, verse 18, it says, "I consider our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." This verse means a lot to me because no matter how much pain I'm in that moment, God has my back. Sooner or later, there will be joy for me. I just have to be patient, and the pain is only temporary.
We're so excited for you, and it's just a joy to see what God's doing in your life and watch the different ways He's been in the last couple of years. And we're really just proud. And so it's really with joy and honor that we now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here to come in His death. Grace to follow Him.